When New York State and then the Congress enacted the harsh mandatory sentencing laws we now live with, there were two reasons. Legislators thought judges were being soft on drug criminals, but they also wanted to give prosecutors a tool to catch drug kingpins. The only way to reduce a mandatory sentence is to turn in other drug criminals. So, the theory said, street dealers would turn in suppliers, suppliers would turn in wholesalers, all the way to the top. A few drug kingpins have been caught, but to a disturbing extent, mandatory sentencing has been working in reverse, filling our prisons with the lowest level, least dangerous people on the drug scene. Here's how. Perhaps you remember a remarkable tale of two crimes from NBC's Dateline 2 years ago. The first crime. Jeff Thompson, a small-time LSD dealer, and his 18-year-old girlfriend, Nicole Richardson, were caught by drug agents. Nicole herself hadn't sold drugs. The jury convicted her primarily of putting another drug dealer, who had become a government informant, in touch with Jeff over the telephone.
When can I get hold of Jeff?
Hold on. Looking for his number. Okay, it's 653-5172.
What the jurors didn't know was that conviction carried a congressionally mandated prison term.
10 years for a phone call, I just don't see it.
The second crime. This is Nicole with her mother, Angela. One night, while in jail, Nicole was on the phone with Angela. A drifter broke into the house, and as Nicole listened, attacked Angela.
He says, I'm going to rape you, and then I'm going to kill you.
Nicole's screams brought guards who sent the police. John Dwayne Yarbrough was caught in the act, convicted in state court of sodomy and attempted rape. He will be eligible for parole in 1997. Nicole Richardson, with no record of violence, no criminal record at all, will be here at this federal prison camp until the year 2000.
Nicole Richardson.
We met Nicole again in April as she was graduating with honors from a prison drug awareness program. She says her life here hasn't all been bad.
I think being in a place like this, it wakes you up and you see that the things that you didn't really appreciate on the outside are so important to you now. I want to be somebody and I want to feel good about myself.
All the other members of Jeff Thompson's LSD ring are back on the streets. They all informed on each other and received shortened sentences. Only Nicole, with no one to inform on, remains behind bars.
It still makes me angry. I accept what's happened to me as it happened for a reason, but I'm very bitter about that still.
Nicole saves the government a little money working as a clerk for the prison. By the time she leaves here, we will have spent more than $170,000 to keep her locked away. There are tens of thousands of Nicole Richardsons in our federal prisons, nonviolent drug criminals doing mandatory sentences of 10, 20, 30 years with no chance of parole.
I've been in a couple of years and I accept it more now than anything. My mom always talks about when she wants to bring her baby home, but I always tell her, well, in the year 2000 we'll talk about it. There's no sense in hoping. If it happens, I'll be really surprised, but if it doesn't, I'm going to be okay.
As you've seen, we can put dollars and cents price tags on the war on drugs. But is there another price, a cost to what we think of as the American way of life? A growing number of judges and civil liberties lawyers think there is.
It's probably the most destructive social experiment that this country's ever undertaken.
Stephen Duke is a professor of criminal law at Yale. His book, America's Longest War, is a major study of the war on drugs.
It's destroying the cities, it's creating crime, it's making public education in the cities impossible, it's filling our prisons, it is doing nobody any good.
You have said that the courts have set aside the Fourth, Fifth, and Sixth Amendments to the Constitution. What do you mean by that?
Anything is reasonable if it's done to find drugs or to enforce the drug laws. The drug agents can stop virtually anybody on the street, stop their cars, search their cars. There are so many exceptions to the search warrant requirement, it's becoming a joke. Our rights of property have virtually vanished, where they can be linked in some way with drugs. If drugs are found in your house or your car, you can lose your car or your house, even if you had no knowledge of those drugs. You have to prove your innocence.
Well, how do we enforce the drug laws and not restrict our liberties in the examples you've given?
You can't treat drug use like rape or murder. That's crazy. It's just insane, and that's what we've been doing.
On this question of civil liberties, there are those who make the point that civil liberties should be equally available to all, and that those who peddle drugs are interfering severely with the civil rights of law-abiding citizens. Up to now, we've been looking at America's official war on drugs, and the picture is not encouraging. But all around this nation, at the grassroots, fresh new ideas are springing up. In a moment, we'll look at some of the most challenging alternative programs, some legal, some not, to see if they may point the way to a more promising future than the war as before.